Okay, so one thing that Sharat likes to do, he likes to call people Nazis a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So, and one thing, and that's actually why, like, I sort of I'm not really like interested in like people saying, "Oh, black people don't exist." That's just kind of retarded, and we've been talking about that. And it's kind of dumb.
But at the end of the day,
But the thing is, you like to call.
Aren't you the
So
white
you
socialist?
call people Nazis?
Aren't you the
Okay,
white
yeah. Didn't you used to have a channel called White Socialist?
No, no. Actually, you know what? That's funny. You know what? Let me tell you. Okay, I hear that, and here's what I think happened. I had a channel way back in the day called Confederal Socialist
Confederal Socialist. So you're a socialist and you're a white nationalist, National Socialist.
That's very cute. That's very cute shit.
It's very cute, but it also says exactly everything.
Buddy, guys, Confederal. What does confederation mean? Right? I was a mutualist. All right, and so I said,
"At the end of the day, you're American," and it kind of.
I said.
Scale.
That's nice. Okay, I was a mutualist back then. Okay, and the thing is, Confederal Socialist. It's kind of an edgy way to say mutualist. That's what that was. And all my videos at the time were about like the emergent order of the stateless society and polycentric law. That's what was all on that channel. I was not pro-Confederacy, and I'm definitely not pro-Confederacy today. So, and also, what does that have? I don't know what that has to do with like Nazi, right? Because when you say Nazi, like someone is a Nazi, Millennial Woes is a Nazi. What does that mean to you? Like he's a supporter of the NSDAP?
He's an anti-Semitic white nationalist. Generally, the rest of it tends to be minutia. Otherwise,
okay. So the problem is, now here's an issue here. This is me gonna be citing a study here, because and I actually think I have this. I can give it to you. But there's actually a survey that was done by like this American Jewish Congress, and they did a poll of whites in the U.S. And what they found is that about 90% of them, this was in 1943, said they would rather lose the war with Nazi Germany than end segregation. And that's something that's always, and that's an important thing to consider when people say, "Oh, you have the views of people of you have 1943, like you have the views of the
Holocaust at the time.
You have the views of the people who defeated the Nazis. Therefore, you are a Nazi."
Yeah, but they didn't know about the Holocaust at this point. Like,
what does that matter?
When America came into the European theater, a lot of American
why
soldiers
is that
no, keep with me here. So a lot of American soldiers were kind of a bit woozy about, are we fighting on the right side? And then they found out about all the concentration camps.
No, they were not.
And
That's
then
not
they
true.
thought, oh shit, yes we are.
That is not. No, there's no. The general public in the U.S. was anti-Nazi like in the mid-30s. Like they were like 80% anti.
Yeah. Yes. Oh no, it wasn't.
No, it was. It was. They were overwhelmingly
considering
anti-Nazi.
That there was there was an attempt. There was
no. This is like actual. There's actual polls.
Coup. There was actually planned fascist coup in America in the 1930s.
Yeah, and you know what else? You know what else? In the 1990s, David Duke and Don Black planned a coup to overthrow the island of Dominica in Operation Red Dawn. Like, so what? Some nuts planned a coup somewhere. That doesn't reflect any...
some nuts, dear. That was Congress members involved.
What do you mean? Okay.
Okay, the more fundamental point here, though, is that historically there have been lots of people who were white nationalists and anti-Semitic who were not Nazis.
Right. And that includes basically the majority of the population of the United States. Not as for anti-Semitic, like I'm not even particularly anti-Jewish. That's one of the reasons why I don't like this alt-right thing that sort of grew up around me, and now apparently I'm alt-right, which is even better because my channel name is the Alternative Hypothesis, so people think alternative right, but it's actually not. That name actually came long before the alt-right meme even was about. It's actually a group blog that Sean and I were working on. But anyway, I don't want
one of your background pictures in your videos is a symbol of an SS division.
Yeah, and
that Hungarian SS division.
Yeah, the Hungarian SS division, Maria Teresa. And actually, I saw that from a person. The thing is, like, I hang around a bunch of people in the alt-right, right? And so there are a lot of people who identify with the Hitler regime. And so I saw somebody with that picture, and I thought, oh, that's a nice picture. And so I used it on Facebook. And then when I sort of came back to YouTube, and then when I
hide your dog whistles, and you didn't do it well enough this time.
Oh wow!
What do you mean? Like, I took it down.
That Ryan is dog whistling to Nazis.
I just saw a guy with this
Like
hammer
why?
sickle,
Like I'm dog with like.
and it looked great. It looked really cool. And it just
I
looked
took
like
it
a really
down.
nice picture. I'm not actually a communist.
Yeah, because you realise how bad it looks and how I've been caught in my trap. Oops.
Except
You were caught.
No, I mean I'm not sure how much.
this is. Yeah, you guys don't know anything.
Done
Like
plenty
you guys.
of videos against Nazis throughout the years. That's made white
Like-
nationalists who are pro-Nazi mad. This is a very weird idea to anyone that's familiar with the channel. That the alternative hypothesis is a secret Nazi channel.
Like we've been
Yeah,
doing.
but
Like,
Wait,
the
Hitler,
thing
don't
is,
fight.
we've been doing.
It's a
Like the thing is,
bizarre
Sean
race
have been. Yeah, the thing is, me and they did have a weird race cult, and they had anti-scientific views of race. They actually sort of poo-pooed the, and actually Sean knows about this, so maybe Sean could talk about this. But for me to defend myself, look, if you know any history about me, like I have been like overtly against this sort of conflation between the Hitler regime and white identity, like from like at least since 2011, probably well before that. Right. So like this idea that I'm like secretly pro-Hitler is just absolutely retarded. I made a mistake using a picture of a flower that I thought was nice. And then and now when in fairness, I did find out that it was an SS division flower while I was still making videos sort of to crowd. So I did know about it for a few months and kept using it. So, okay, you could say shame on me or whatever, because I didn't bother to make a new picture or whatever. I just kept using it. But like, it's not like, oh yes, I'm a big fan of Hitler's plan to exterminate 1/3 of all Russians or something. I mean, that's retarded. What do you think that means? Do you think I have some secret desire for Germany to control Russia or have an empire that goes to the Urals or something? Like what is that? Like when you say Ryan Falk is a Nazi, like what does that even mean?
Well, number one, I didn't say you were a Nazi.
No, not you, the shit rat. What does the shit rat mean?
All right, Stoodles.
Or should I call you the race fixer?
No. The shit rat's making the claim, not you.
Hey, if we're gonna start using nicknames, don't want to go down that road.
Okay. That's nice. But just tell me, what do you mean by Nazi? Like, what is that? Like you said like anti. Well, first off, I'm not. Okay. I'm like the least anti-Jewish like guy, like amongst all people, I guess you could call them white nationalists or whatever. But like I've been like.
What do you mean? I guess you could call them white nationalists. This is the thing you guys do all the time. It's just constant. Like it's just an absolute...
because the term white nationalist is lumped in with a bunch of stuff that I don't believe. Because, like when you say white nationalists, people think, oh, is it NSM? Is that the traditional worker? Is that like all these Ku Klux idiots running around? That's the issue. Right, it's an association, and the thing is, it's kind of an intentional association.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. You're all groups that want a white ethno state.
Somewhat,
and so was Harry Truman. So it's weird to call that Nazi.
Yeah, and so was Harry Truman. So was Winston Churchill. Like, I mean, like, do you see how that's kind of dishonest? Like, do you see how it's dishonest? Do you see how it's sort of sure, and you can argue against that on its own terms, but like there's this sort of smear to say, oh, if you have
white ethno states.
First off, Britain basically was at the time.
No, it wasn't.
It
wasn't.
Oh,
no,
yes.
Anti-Nazi propaganda during the war was listed off the different races of soldiers fighting against the Nazis.
Well, that's fine, but Britain's immigration policy was white only at the time. In fact, when after the war, there was a move to change that, and Winston Churchill actually led a campaign to keep Britain white, right? But like during the war and before the war, Britain was like white only immigration. Same with the U.S. Same with Australia.
At the end of the day, it wasn't white only in the UK.
Yeah,
so what is this arbitration?
It was okay, fine. You can say, oh no, there were a few people from India that came in, whatever. Like it was 99% white. Okay. And that was by policy.
So what makes a white nationalist society? Just the immigration policy. So it could be not white, but basically.
Okay. So I'll explain it. It's basically something like Israel, and this is something that's sort of an issue because I'm like kind of pro-Israel in the sense that Israel, it's a state for the Jews. Now it's not necessarily 100% Jewish, right? and it doesn't have to be. But the thing is, anybody who's a Jew anywhere who's having trouble, like if you're a Jew being persecuted in Turkey or whatever, you can move to Israel. That would be the idea of the white ethno state. It's kind of like an Israel like carve out somewhere, where it's basically like if there's a white person, like for example, all the white people in South Africa would have in a white ethno state. They would all be granted.
In South Africa, it's specifically the farmers that are having the problems.
Well, whoever's having the problems, they'd be granted immediate amnesty, right? Because this is like a carve out on the planet for white people. And I think it's good for everybody on the planet to have some sort of state like that. But my issue, like with you, is that you basically smear people who have the views on race of the people who defeated the Nazis. Back when defeating the Nazis was hard, back when being anti-Nazi was difficult, right? The people who like did the most to actually defeat this particular regime, and then you're saying, oh, they're like that regime.
Right? Most people were fucking conscripts.
Yeah, they
sure.
don't have a choice. Yeah,
they didn't exactly have a choice.
Okay, but they're what? But the majority of Americans supported the war, and by that I mean white Americans at the time supported the war. Like this, right?
Not in 1939, they didn't.
Not in 1939.
No, okay, but in 1941, 42, 43, when they were fighting, they did.
Well, that's because Pearl Harbor had happened by that point. Not because of.
Sure, and
no one is suggesting that the people wanted to go to war with Nazi Germany because Nazi Germany was like it had insufficient white nationalism. So that's not what's being said. All that's being said is that the people, the Allies, several of them anyway, held views that today people like you guys would smear as Nazi.